3, 2, 1. Ooh, jumped in super
quick.
Close there. Good morning.
Morning.
I think that's live on Facebook now. Yay! Good morning, Margaret. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram. So, were we here last week? Can't even remember. No, I was off on holiday, so
you were skiving.
Yeah, just skiving off. As you do.
Uh-huh.
So welcome for joining us this morning. This morning we are going to chat about loneliness, as we do, just kind of how we deal with it, how we...
Somebody asked about that, did you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so this was a topic that was requested, so thank you for that. And if there's anything else, in our usual style, we just kind of riffed on it, see what comes.
See what tune comes out and the like.
Speaking about tunes, maybe not appropriate for the loneliness topic, but we have had a request for karaoke and singing, which Stuart is not up for at all.
And the request has been denied.
So yeah, this is in response to us singing a WhatsApp voicemail to some beautiful ladies the other day of Roy Castle's Dedication Is What You Need. So
if you remember, what was it?
Record Breakers.
Record Breakers, that's right. With Ross McWhirter, one of the twins.
I don't remember that bit.
Yeah, I do.
So, yeah, loneliness. So when we first, as we normally do, just on the day of the live, have a little chat about it. And for me, I said to Stuart, this is something I really struggle to kind of speak about because it's not something that I've really experienced to any depth, is what my original kind of take on the subject was, because I actually love being on my own. You joke that I could just be a hermit, literally love being on my own. However, one of the things that came through for me was thinking about other instances where I've felt loneliness. And good morning, Karen. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Margaret. The other times where I've felt loneliness have actually been when I've had people around me. So it's not necessarily being on your own. When you feel lonely, I know for many people just now it is.
Yeah.
And we can come on to that. But for me personally, the times I felt most alone were when I've been going through something that's maybe really heavy, something deeply personal, even, and I know you won't mind me saying this, but even when we were going through our counselling, as a couple, marriage when we were going through marriage counselling, we had so much stuff going on at that time, and my mum was dying, and I think for me, that period was a really lonely time because a lot of the things I couldn't speak about with other people, or so I thought. Maybe just wasn't the right people, and I can speak about that later, because I think for many people who struggle with loneliness, for me in that situation, it was because of the circumstances I was in. I felt like I couldn't talk about what I was experiencing, but actually further down the line, I did reach out to specific groups for support. And that was a mega turning point. People who were going through the same thing as me. Not to kind of moan about what was going on in my life, but just to really gain support from people who'd been through what I was going through, was really empowering and made me feel less alone.
Mm-hmm. I think in terms of loneliness, I'm with you in that respect, being an overt kind of person. But I think loneliness is... a case of, what is it, what does it mean, and all that kind of stuff is quite a good thing to kind of try and assess. And I suppose loneliness is kind of like the state of feeling alone. But it's different from being alone, because you can be lonely, but you can also be alone. I think loneliness is being alone and feeling sad about it, feeling depressed about it, or feeling weak about the fact that you're actually feeling alone. Mm-hmm. But you can be alone, and as Susie was saying there, but still be, quite upbeat about it, being inspired by it, and enjoying it, the being alone on your own, kind of thing. So it is a case of trying to identify what the loneliness means for you in that sense. Because if we can do that, then obviously we can try and have some kind of conversation about any ways of kind of overcoming it or dealing with it, or certainly recognizing it. That's the key thing. What does it mean?
So Debbie's saying here on Facebook that she's felt quite lonely even though she's working and still talking to friends. She's really missing the contact with friends.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that I kind of was thinking about as I was getting ready for this morning, that sometimes we can feel lonely, we're not getting that connection, and it's really difficult to get that sense of touch, like hugging and connecting with people in that way if you're quite a tactile person. Good morning, Marjorie. So things like, for me, and this is going to sound really shallow, and I don't mean this in a shallow way, but like taking time having a bath, like applying my body lotion afterwards, like just really kind of connecting with that sense of touch, even just sitting, rubbing my hands. It is a challenge when there's nobody else there to connect with in that way. But like, I think that for me, like little things like that connect in that way. So it's really interesting to think that we can often feel lonely. And I think it's important to talk about that, if it's really affecting you, to actually reach out for support and help, somebody to speak to, just somebody sometimes just to tell you it's okay. Like,
Yeah. And I suppose that's the difference between, the factors that contribute towards loneliness, whether they're internal factors within ourselves or whether they're actually external factors, as Debbie's kind of saying in some respects there, about not being able to be around people because of the current circumstances and so forth. But as Susie says, I mean, you can be in a room of 100 people and be the loneliest person there because your internal loneliness doesn't go away. And, internal loneliness can, derive from things like, lacking self-confidence, feeling insecure, not having great people skills or interpersonal, capabilities and being able to kind of talk to people. So those are internal things that kind of can make us lonely because we don't reach out, we don't go and talk to, we don't seek out because of those internal things. And the external factor for us are, a lack of being around people, maybe the type of job that we do. Salesmen, for all they are, overt and they're out there selling and knocking on doors and beating on doors, their confidence and all that kind of stuff, can be really lonely people.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that actually. Some of the times, like, and I was a salesperson in a previous life. On the road, travelling, travelling up and down the country, me and my little car. But yeah, I think that previously I struggled to be on my own. So this is what the difference you're speaking about being like alone. And like I used to really struggle to be on my own. I always had to be around people. I hated being on my own. And then I was probably seeking out maybe the wrong people, and doing the wrong things or whatever. But, just constantly seeking to be with someone. Yeah, from a relationship point of view or whatever, because but that wasn't, I don't think, because I was lonely. That was because I wasn't happy with who I was. Like, I just wasn't comfortable with who I was. I didn't like being with myself.
And when roughly was that?
Probably before I started working with you.
Oh, there you go then. Everything changed after that.
No, but yeah, so, even like as a student and stuff. And my beautiful friend Sarah's on here that I used to live with, and yeah, she knows. I don't like being on my own. I used to have to try and like hang on to
Waking
her like
up,
a blooming limpet.
Sarah, you make it.
Hug her even if she didn't like it.
Yeah. It's interesting on that point. I actually looked up this morning just one thing, and it was about you look for stats and all that kind of stuff, and it's incredible. I'll ask you the question here. What age category has been identified in research as being the loneliest age category in the last 5 years in the UK? Age category, roughly.
Can I give two?
No.
I'm thinking like 16 to 21 and like 65 to 75.
Okay, it's a 16 to 24. You're right on that respect. So the loneliest people in the United Kingdom over the last 5 years, based on the research that I looked at this morning, is 16 to 24-year-olds, which is quite incredible with what you're just saying. About how you're feeling and want to be around people and feel the need to be around people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think there's just that need to fit in at that age, though, isn't it? To feel part of something. So I don't know if that's like, just like Debbie, if you're still there, like, or anybody else, with regards to loneliness, is it because you don't feel part of something, or is it because you are actually on your own? I know. It can feel, for people who are living on their own just now, obviously, and can't interact with other people.
Can it be some habits? That maybe
people who have experienced grief or loss can experience, deep loneliness. People who are going through challenging personal circumstances can feel deep loneliness. And then that can lead to depression. That was my experience of that as well. Claire's saying it's a disconnection, just like what you were saying in your chat with Melissa, disconnection from creativity, nature, self, community. Absolutely. Just, not feeling part of something, connected to something. So looking at ways to kind of overcome that situation, how would you have you experienced loneliness?
I'd probably say that because I was quite a timid, insecure kid, that when I became a young adult, i.e. when I became 16 to 24, that category if you like, which is 100 years ago by the way, I did have this sense of clinging on and clinging to people and wanting to be around people, but really being around them didn't really satisfy the sense that I was actually feeling.
Yeah, so, that's the thing. It's like that you're seeking it was that strange. Something that you're not getting from that person. So when you can work out what it is you're seeking.
The last 30 years. And just working with people and being around people and developing myself personally and all that kind of stuff, that loneliness hasn't been something that has really been part of me. I mean, and like Susie, I love my own company, and I'm quite happy being on my own. I can easily keep myself occupied or not, as the case would be, and I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. If I'm lying about on the sofa, I have no issue with that. I'm quite comfortable in that kind of sense. But it is a challenge, there's no doubt. And I think that some of the things that to maybe look at is actually acknowledging how you're feeling. Acknowledging, are you feeling, what is it that's making you feel the way you're feeling? In terms of the loneliness. Try to get to the root of what it actually is. Are some of the things that you're doing during the day making you feel lonely? Some of the habits that you've got? Because I suspect, you yourself anyway, habits, you go and you munch on stuff, or you have biscuits, or you have bars and all that kind of stuff that are a nanosecond delight, but make you feel pretty crappy afterwards, can actually impact you thinking you feel lonely, for example.
Yeah, I think there's like a fear as well, like maybe when you are lonely, that fear of reaching out, like, oh gosh, I'm going to be such a burden, or like, do you know what I mean? Like from an anxiety, like previous anxiety sufferers background, like, I suppose there is that disconnect of like kind of cutting yourself off from people and things, especially if you suffer from social anxiety. You kind of, it's a horrible situation to be in, because you really want people around you, but you're terrified to put yourself in that situation. So
recognizing you're not alone.
Yeah, recognizing you're not alone.
Recognizing you are not alone, and that is a strength, to be honest. Because if you actually think about it, if somebody came to you saying they felt alone, they were lonely and they didn't know what they were doing and all that kind of stuff, what would you do and how would you feel? You'd want to probably try and figure a way of kind of trying to help them, or be there for them, or offer potential solutions that might be helpful for them. So there's somebody, some person or a group of people or something like that who are waiting, if you like,
to support
you. But it's like everything else. If we don't tell people how we feel, there's nothing anybody can do about it.
Yeah.
And one of the issues I had many, many years ago was the fact that I used to think that, why do you not know how I'm feeling? Well, it's because I wasn't really open enough, or didn't share it, or I didn't really give the honest truth about how I was feeling. So when they gave a solution to what I said I felt, it still didn't resolve the issue.
You were being honest.
Yeah, exactly. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But you learn that, you go through that, and you begin to kind of gain experience and knowing
I think
what's good for you.
the group idea, depending why you are feeling lonely, like for me, finding a group you connect with, and it may not be because they're experiencing the same things as you, it might be because you have same common interests, or things like that. So thinking about people that you can connect with who have similar interests, outlooks, things like that can be really, really powerful, especially during these times, or just using that as a way to kind of get some inspiration, or as I say, if it is something difficult and challenging you're going through, finding other people who have been there, who have maybe overcome it, and can offer you the support they wish they'd had, I think is really, really good. But yeah, small steps
at a time. And I mean, one of the things that I think we all challenge any time in our life is the ability to get out of our comfort zones. And because something's in your comfort zone, that's where you're lonely, for example. And that's where you feel you're keeping yourself safe.
Yeah, I can't remember who I was speaking about this to the other day, but it's that pain. Like,
yes,
sometimes
absolutely.
being in the pain is easier than, I know what it was. I was speaking to a friend about not drinking. That's what it was, and she was saying that like sometimes it's easier just to stay in that space of pain, right, than to do something about it, because then you're like, one, you'd have to face it, and two, like, what if it doesn't get any better? But what if it does get like 1,000,000 times better? So she's like, oh, well, I'd rather just stay stuck in this situation of pain than
which is
but that's human.
helpful.
That's human nature, so it does take bravery to just try something different and step out of that comfort zone. Margaret's saying she can relate to hate being on her own. Just to have someone to care about you, give you a hug, to say everything will be okay, can mean the world. But I know I have support out there to help me, which helps me enormously. Talking is the best therapy. Yes, I worry about being a burden with my loneliness. Yeah, and I think that's probably like so common for people to feel like that, to feel like, oh, so stupid. Like, I know, like, as I said, when I probably did feel lonely back when I was younger, I wouldn't have thought to speak to anyone about it, because I would have just been like, oh god, they're going to think you're so stupid. You're out with people all the time. You're like a party animal. Like, you've got 1,000,000 friends. What's your problem?
Well, that's the perception, isn't it?
Yeah.
And perception's a very powerful emotion that. Because whatever you see, you actually believe anyway, whether it's right or whether it's wrong. And people perceive you to be lively and, friendly and loads of friends and all that, but really inside, it's quite the opposite, which is quite great. Well, based on what you were saying, I hope you've cheered up by now. You're
not lively, you're not friendly.
Sorry. On that note, see you next week. Bye.
Okay, maybe back then.
Yes, back then. But I never knew you.
Not now. So, I am quite a friendly person.
Good, you can laugh about it now, isn't it?
Yeah, I got to laugh at yourself.
Yeah. But it's again, and this another theme is recognising the things you can do something about and recognising the things you can't do something about. Because there are things you can do and there's things that are out with your control. And things out with your control you can't do anything about. So try and look at what can you do and how can you do it to impact kind of like the way that you're feeling. Reaching out, as you say, joining a
Group.
a group.
I
Even doing like an online kind of course, for example.
Yeah, or
You
volunteering.
Volunteering, yes, you can get in
That's a
touch
good
with.
one.
I remember a mentor of mine many years ago said that, go and seek out two different types of people: people who you believe are superior to you and learn from them, and people who are maybe not as fortunate as you and actually offer a hand and an arm to them. And that way you'll get a balance in life, and you'll be able to contribute.
Yeah. Does that help? That chat? I just felt guided. I've got these cards at the side of my desk that I bought from Vinthorn, and I've just pulled two of them. They're actually greetings cards, but they've got beautiful messages on them, and I just want to share them with you today before we go. And one of them is called New Beginnings, and it's by a lady called Susanna Michaelis, and I love her poetry. It's really uplifting, really, really beautiful. And the other one is by Thich Nhat Hanh, who, if anyone's done any meditation with me, will have heard me speak about his work. So he's a Vietnamese monk, and he has so much beautiful wisdom to share with the world. But okay, so I'll start with Thich Nhat Hanh, and just to say, our practice is to live our daily life in such a way that every moment, every act becomes an act of love. And I think that that's really important, to add that sense of purpose and love for yourself. And Margaret's just commented there saying that this morning I talked about routines, and she's found that helps her a lot. And yeah, it's making your life sacred, like creating these rituals to support you, to show you that you're of value as you are without anybody else, when we don't have other people there, for example. And the card from Susanna Michaelis is called New Beginnings. I hope I've pronounced her last name right. Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Each new day offers us a blank page to write upon, make beautiful marks. Each day a vast canvas to paint with wonder the colours of love. May this new beginning set you free from everything that no longer serves you. May you open to new possibilities. Find the courage in your heart to spread your wings and fly. Now is the time you've waited for. Start with hope, intention, and trust. Begin with the miracle of love. So taking that first little step to reach out for support, to connect with what you truly need, that's kind of something that's come through.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that that's supported you guys today. Does anybody have any questions before we jump off? As usual, please do reach out to us with anything you want us to freestyle, chat about. That would be good. Sending you so much love. Can't see us there.
Oh, sorry. Have I been out the
Two
picture
cameras.
for half an hour?
So yeah, we're sending you so much love today. Let us know if anything's coming up for you, anything
Indeed.
you want help with.
Yeah.
We'll reserve judgment on the karaoke.
And the other thing about reaching out is reaching out to other people. It may actually help them as much as you, because they may be in the same boat as you, that they don't want to burden on you, but they're so pleased that you reached out to them because you've made them feel less lonely, or somebody cares about me and so forth. So by reaching out to others, you can actually have two birds with one stone.
Yeah. I read a beautiful quote this morning actually, which was from Robert Holden, and it was about like his definition of love. And I can't remember it fully, but it was really about that giving and receiving, to be able to receive it but also to be able to give it. And I think by reaching out for support, it's there is that reciprocation and exchange of support, which I think is beautiful and necessary.
Definitely. We all have something to give. Find out what that might be, what you enjoy, and share it if you can. And you never know whose life you're going to impact, whose life you're going to save, for that matter. So,
Awesome.
great stuff.
So if it is something that you're struggling with in a really difficult way, then there's lots of organisations to help. Please do reach out for us, to us even. Thank you, Margaret. Looking forward to meditating with you tomorrow too. Starting our days off together with Magic 7, which I cannot wait. That's going to be super fun. So yeah.
Yeah, great stuff.
Okay, right. Love you guys, and we will
See you
speak
next
to you
week.
soon.
See you later.